The Associated Press provides weekly rankings of the top 25 NCAA teams in one of three Division I college sports: football, men's basketball, and women's basketball. The rankings are compiled by polling 65 sports writers and broadcasters from across the nation. Each voter provides his own ranking of the top 25 teams, and the individual rankings are then combined to produce the national ranking by giving a team 25 points for a first-place vote, 24 for a second-place vote, and so on down to 1 point for a 25th-place vote. Ballots of the voting members in the app poll are made public. College football history. The app College Football Poll has a long history. The news media began running their own polls of sports writers to determine who was, by popular opinion, the best football team in the country at the end of the season. One of the earliest such polls was the app College Football Poll, first run in 1934, and it has run continuously from 1936. Due to the long-standing historical ties between individual college football conferences and high-paying bowl games like the Rose Bowl and Orange Bowl, the NCAA had not held a tournament or championship game to determine the champion of what is now the highest division, NCAA Division I Football Bowl Subdivision. As a result, the public and the media began to acknowledge the leading vote-getter in the final app poll as the national champion for that season. While the app poll currently lists the top 25 teams in the nation, from 1936 to 1961 the wire service only ranked 20 teams. From 1962 to 1967 only 10 teams were recognized. From 1968 to 1988, the app again resumed its top 20 before expanding to the current 25 teams in 1989. The app began conducting a pre-season poll starting in 1950. At the end of the 1947 season, the app released an unofficial post-bowl poll which differed from the regular season final poll. Until the 1968 college football season, the final app poll of the season was released following the end of the regular season, with the lone exception of the 1965 season. In 1964, Alabama was named the national champion in the final app poll following the completion of the regular season, but lost in the Orange Bowl to Texas, leaving Arkansas as the only undefeated, untied team after the Razorbacks defeated Nebraska in the Cotton Bowl Classic. In 1965, the AP's decision to wait to crown its champion paid handsomely, as top-ranked Michigan State lost to UCLA in the Rose Bowl. Number 2 Arkansas lost to LSU in the Cotton Bowl Classic, and 4th-ranked Alabama defeated 3rd-ranked Nebraska in the Orange Bowl, vaulting the Crimson Tide to the top of the AP's final poll. Beginning in the 1968 season, the post-bowl game poll became permanent and the app championship reflected the bowl game results. The UPI did not follow suit with the coaches poll until the 1974 season. Number 1 versus no. As of the completion of the 2015 season, the number 1 ranked team has faced the number 2 ranked team 50 times since the inception of the app poll. In 1936, the number 1 team has a record of 2-8-2-0-2 against the number 2 team. App poll inclusion in the BCS. In 1997, the Bowl Championship Series was developed to try to unify the poll results by picking 2 teams for a real national championship game. For the first several years, the app poll factored in the determination of the BCS rankings, along with other factors including the coaches poll and computer-based polls. Because of a series of controversies controversies surrounding the BCS, the app demanded in December 2004 that its poll no longer be used in the BCS rankings, and so the 2004-2005 season was the last season that the app poll was used for this purpose. In the 2003 season, the BCS system broke down when the final BCS standings ranked the University of Southern California at No. 3, while the two human polls in the system had ranked USC at No. 1. As a result, USC did not play in the BCS-designated national championship game, after defeating another highly ranked team, Michigan, in its final game. The app poll kept USC at No. 1, while the coaches poll was contractually obligated to select the winner of the BCS game, Louisiana State University, as the No. 1 team. The resulting split national title was the very problem that the BCS was created to solve, and has been widely considered an embarrassment. In 2004, a new controversy erupted at the end of the season when Auburn and Utah, who both finished the regular season 12-0, were left out of the BCS title game in favor of Oklahoma, who also was 12-0 and had won decisively over Colorado in the Big 12 championship game. USC went on to win easily over Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl, while Auburn and Utah both won the bowl games, leaving 3 undefeated teams at the end of the season. Also, in that same year, Texas made up late ground on California in the BCS standings and as a result grabbed a high payout at-large spot in the Rose Bowl. Previous to that poll, Cal had been ranked ahead of Texas in both human polls and the BCS poll. Going into the final game, the Golden Bears were made aware that while margin of victory did not affect computer rankings, it did affect human polls, and just 8 voters changing the vote could affect the final standings. Both teams won the game that week, but the Texas coach, Mack Brown, had made a public effort to lobby for his team to be moved higher in the ranking. When the human polls were released, Texas remained behind Cal, but it had closed the gap enough so that the BCS poll placed Texas above Cal, angering both Cal and its conference, the Pac-10. The final poll positions had been unchanged, with Cal at No. 4 app number 4 coaches, and No. 6 computers polls, and Texas at No. 6 app number 5 coaches, and number 4 computer polls. The app poll voters were caught in the middle because the vote changes were automatically made public, while the votes of the coaches poll were kept confidential. Although there had been a more substantial shift in the votes of the coaches poll, the only clear targets for the ire of fanatical fans were the voters in the app poll. While officials from both Cal and the Pac-10 called for the coaches' votes to be made public, the overtures were turned down and did little to solve the problem of app voters. Cal went on to lose to Texas Tech in the Holiday Bowl. Texas defeated Michigan in the Rose Bowl. Many members of the press who voted in the app poll were upset by the controversy, and, at the behest of its members, the app asked that its poll no longer be used in the BCS rankings. The 2004 season was the last season that the app poll was used in the BCS rankings. It was replaced in the BCS equation by the newly created Harris Interactive College Football Poll. Final app football polls. Other media football polls. The app poll is not the only college football poll. The other major poll is the coaches poll, which has been sponsored by several organizations: the United Press, the United Press International, USA Today, CNN, and ESPN. Having 2 major polls has led to numerous split national titles where the 2 polls disagreed on the No. 1 team. This has occurred on 11 different occasions. college basketball. In Division I men's and women's college basketball, the app poll is largely just a tool to compare schools throughout the season and spark debate, as it has no bearing on post-season play. Generally, all top 25 teams in the poll are invited to the men's and women's NCAA basketball tournament, also known as March Madness. The poll is usually released every Monday and voters' ballots are made public. Men's basketball. The app began compiling a ranking of the top 20 college men's basketball teams during the 1948-1949 season. It has issued this poll continuously since the 1950-1951 season. North Carolina has been ranked number 1 the most times, and UCLA has been ranked number 1 the second most times. Women's basketball. The women's basketball poll began during the 1976-1977 season, and was initially compiled by Mel Greenberg and published by the Philadelphia Inquirer. At first, it was a poll of coaches conducted via telephone, where coaches identified top teams and a list of the top 20 team was produced. The initial list of coaches did not include Pat Summitt, who asked to join the group, not to improve her rankings, but because of the lack of media coverage. Summitt believed it would be a good way to stay on top of who the top teams were outside of her own schedule. The contributors continued to be coaches until 1994, when the app took over administration of the poll from Greenberg, and switched to a panel of writers. In 1994, Tennessee started out as number 1 in the polls, with Connecticut at number 4. After losses by the No. 2 and number 3 teams, Tennessee and Connecticut were ranked number 1 and number 2, headed into a showdown scheduled as a special event on Martin Luther King Day, the only women's basketball game scheduled on that day. Because of the unusual circumstances, the decision was made to hold off the app voting for one day, to ensure it would be after the game. Connecticut won the game, and moved into first place in the app poll, published on Tuesday for the only time. Over the history of the poll, over 255 coaches have had a team represented in polls. NFL football. Beginning in 2012, the app began issuing a weekly pro football ranking, the App Pro 32 rankings.